Hello, denizens. Here we are. Another former network executive reaction to Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 7. Before I dive into what I thought about the episode, there's always a million things that goes through my head when watching favorite properties. Does it actually help that I watched the original Star Treks as they were aired? Or that I was third in line to see the first Star Wars showing in Toronto? Or is it a hindrance? When I watch these shows, I have a lot of sympathy, believe it or not, for the execs because the challenges are different, irrespective of whatever bias you want to apply to the shows or movies. For instance, back in 1966, I was 12, and alien planets made from giant foam boulders were plenty believable enough. Now, our expectations are a bit more sophisticated, even for a 12-year-old. From a budget perspective, I would expect a lot more shows to be done on existing practical sets. Very few shows can afford to shoot multiple locations, especially if they have to look outer-worldly. Now, the Orville seems to pull this off better than Trek. Still, that's why they have Zoom calls from alien vessels, because it's cheaper. There will be spoilers. You have been warned. You've asked me to review these shows. Reviews are not my favorite thing to do because it's much like recording a vacation. It's impossible to be filming your family and enjoying the moment at the same time. I've made peace with this series in a way I could never with Discovery. Still, so far, no one is going to be telling anyone, oh, you need to watch Children of the Comet or Memento Mori. They are classic. That's not the goal of Strange New Worlds, it seems. And do you recall what I said at the opening of this review? The budget for this episode clearly allowed for only 3 sets. Well, 2, actually. They reused the Vulcan set, which I'm sure they shot like all the Vulcan scenes from Spock Amok onward all at once, and a traditional warehouse set as well as the permanent Enterprise one. And so we bounced from last week's disappointingly underexplored Lift Us, Where Suffering Cannot Reach, to this week's show, which had moments that were as bad as fanfic. The Siren Squall. Of course, it had its good moments. We finally got a Spock episode. And while it's no surprise where the Spock and Chapel arc is heading, I enjoyed it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying Ethan Pike's Spock. Yes, you may burn me on a pyre now. Of course, I did wonder why Chapel was at all those high-level meetings at the beginning. Who cares? Not the most egregious issue with the show. Any writer knows that there are only so many stories out there. The traitorous turnaround is a staple. You can't get away from it. So what do? You can just accept it all in its hoary cliche goodness or subvert it. The reason these tropes keep working is because, well, there's always a new audience for them. And old turds like me who have seen this traitorous turnaround thing, 1,000 times need not apply. The Matrix, anyone? And speaking of traitors, in this episode we have Dr. Aspen, who turns out to really be Captain Angel of the Pirates, played by Jesse James Keitel, chewing up the scenery like Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard. It was a pleasantly outrageous turn that was really fun to watch. There are so many things I could comment on that honestly won't impact on the enjoyment for fans of this episode. So why bother? So I'll just keep it to the one thing that irked me the most: the breaching of the Enterprise by the pirates and the capture of the landing crew on the pirate vessel. Spaceship. What do you call a pirate vessel in space? Both of these were so implausibly executed, I stopped watching the show and I had to walk around the house just to compose myself enough to be, be able to go back to the computer and hit the space bar and keep watching. At this point, I was more incredulous as to just how they were going to resolve this show. How come the Enterprise did not detect that trailing ship? At least give us an explanation. Literally, everything on the pirate ship was trash. The creature work, the masks and makeup and everything, it was embarrassing. Was this Roy Wood from the Electric Light Orchestra? The story was embarrassing. The winking Alpha Braga foreplan between number 1 and Pike came right out of a Bob Hope Bing Crosby road movie, for which I was eternally grateful and impressed. At least we saw Pike's hair get abused. I'm not going to go into the details, but how did the landing crew sensors not sense the pirates? At least explain that. And how about a nice brawl before our intrepid crew is overwhelmed by greater numbers? La'an, Pike busting some heads. At least give us that. Apparently, the pirates beamed on, this Enterprise scene, the pirates beamed on board the Ent. This moment right out of Star Wars before Darth Vader entered, well, that was cute. Pew, pew, pew. Where's the rest of the crew? Hundreds of people suddenly disappeared. Only Nurse Chapel left to fight them off. I was happily convinced that the fake Dr. Aspen was the real deal at the beginning. It was the bridge firefight, pew, 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 where I twigged what was up. But how did they breach the bridge? They didn't even have, door badges, security badges. This kind of stuff just takes me right out of the show. Your mileage may vary. Spock at least got to kick some ass. Apart from the relentlessly dumb pirate vessel scene, which actually ended with Pike at the helm of a big pirate steering wheel, the stuff on the bridge played out as I anticipated. I enjoyed it, so I won't give you a blow-by-blow. In the end, evil Captain Angel abandons her crew, of course. I think we'll see her again. And we get the mystery reveal at the very end. And I do have to bring up the lift scene between Spock and fake Dr. Aspen as an explanation for the loud house music, house music pumping out of her Enterprise suite. She confesses to Spock on the elevator, "I used to club hop in my academy days." More horrible, unmotivated dialogue in elevators. They need to stop shooting scenes in elevators. Characters stretching sore muscles on the lift. That's 2 shows in a row, one with Uhura and one with Dr. Aspen. Is that a thing now? The tribute to the Tholian web, that was fun. I actually liked Ortega's kaboom quips. She's sounding more Jewish all the time. The nod to the shrinking web closing in. Well, that's kind of akin to Fortnite. I will be expecting a Star Trek Battle Royale game any time now. There you go, denizens. Another okay episode mixed with some awful. They have to stop doing that. Till next time, be seeing you.